So over my career, I've been very blessed to work with some amazing teams at Thinkingbox as well as at Secret Location. And we've had a lot of accomplishments together. One that's really noted is a reality TV show you might have heard of, Big Brother. We did this amazing platform where we got to engage with all like 2 million viewers at once and connect using technology, obviously using the web platform, with the actual users and all the fans. So never before have Big Brother audience members been able to interact with the cast, and we were able to do that. And at the end, we got a CSA, we got a bunch of different awards for that. But for me, like the biggest, most impressive part of it was being able to talk to the actual fans themselves and see how engaged that they were and how excited they were when they were actually able to send a message to their favorite cast member. Another really amazing opportunity that I was part of was at Secret Location. I was able to work with the team to work on a Sleepy Hollow experience at Comic-Con. And this experience was a VR experience, and this was about 5-6 years ago, where fans were able to go through an experience to get their heads chopped off. Kind of sounds kind of scary, but in VR, it was a really great experience to be able to share and go through. And being part of that, we were lucky enough to win the first VR Emmy alongside Taylor Swift. So I think at the end, we were able to be in good company. Oh, for sure. So I'm a big pop music fan. I'm a big music fan in general. So when a project came through our desk at Thinkingbox, we were stoked because it was with Shawn Mendes. And basically all we had to do was, we worked with this team in New York to recreate the day in the life of Shawn Mendes. Anything, so each room, as fans would walk in, it would be initially how he made his lyrics, to recreating his studio in Malibu, to actually having a stage experience with a 360 screen to simulate what it would feel like to be on stage. I was able to actually see him. I waved at him. He said, "Good job." So that was pretty amazing. But also, again, like the best part of that was seeing those screaming fans literally soak it up. And when I see screaming fans, I think that's also me as well, because I'm a bit of a fan as well. Ever since I was a kid, I was always artistic. I have this framed picture I did of Cheryl Blossom from like Archie comics, and I wanted to draw comics when I was a child. I wasn't very good back then. Obviously over time, and going to OCAD helped. But my mom always fostered that, and I think that part of my life was a great experiment. Taking art classes in high school, I would always make these movies that would mimic kind of like, big picture movies when I was a child with all my friends. I was always trying to be creative. I was always trying to create things. However, when it came to the choice of where I was going to go to university, I think I had a little bit of pushback of both internally and I think with some personal parts of my life of concerns about going to art school, because I think back then, I don't want to age myself, but I think back then art school had the idea that if you went to art school, you're going to be a starving artist, and that success didn't necessarily match up. For instance, my brother went to U of T for business. Very, very different. He has that mind. He works corporate sales now, and I think that's amazing. But for me, if I wasn't able to be creative every day of my life, I wouldn't be fulfilled. And I'm so happy that I get to do that now. What I would say is that I was thankfully enough to have the courage to be able to go and to decide to myself that this is something that I felt in my heart that connected with me. I always felt that being able to express myself visually was somewhere that I wanted to be. And I didn't know necessarily that I would end up where I am. I didn't know that I'd be dabbling with technology and VR and AR and design in all these different ways. But I'm thankful that I made that decision, because I wouldn't be where I am now. And one of the things, reflecting and thinking back about my journey here, my mom has always been that support. I don't think she's ever really fully understood, especially, as I, evolved in my career. She was the one who kept that drawing of mine of that. It was an Archie comic drawing back when I was a child, when I was like 8 years old. And she always fostered that version of me. I think she didn't really fully understand that, but I was thankful that, I had her as a champion. That, without her, her support, I definitely wouldn't be here right now. So thanks, Mom. I know we all get scared, especially when you're making that big decision. I think there's a few big decisions in our life, like, potentially finding a partner, but buying a house and all that stuff. But one of the biggest decisions in your life is, what is my career path going to be? And when you think of that, and you think of how many hours you're going to be spending living that life, literally more hours are spent at work than probably the rest of your life. You should be passionate about what you're doing, because when you live every single day, maybe you'll make some money, maybe you'll feel like secure somewhere else, or but if you're not feeling that passion, feeling that like that motivation inside you every day, you're gonna know it. You're gonna know what that feels like when you're able to wake up and say, I love what I do.